Looking back, crashing trend of Sea Harrier fighter planes, published in 2014. It was past 11 am on a warm Monday morning when one of our commander's Sea Harrier jet fighter came to land on the tarmac on the Naval Air Station at an eastern airport. It was not an ordinary fighter aircraft landing. Our commander gently rotated the Sea Harrier's vertical landing thrust nozzles down towards the runway, bringing the aircraft to a gentle hover. Just then, the aircraft began yawing out of control. In a flash, the experienced pilot yanked the twin handles of the Martin Baker ejection seat between his thighs. His seat rocketed out of the cockpit into the sky. The parachute blossomed minutes after the aircraft thudded on the concrete. He escaped unscathed, but his aircraft became the 17th Sea Harrier of a total fleet of 30 aircraft to crash since their introduction in 1983. Among the greatest threats for a carrier battle group out at the sea is from long range maritime patrol and strike aircraft which operate far beyond the range of the ship's sensors and surface to air missiles. A single hit from an anti ship missile can disable a carrier and prevent it from launching aircraft. The only weapon the Navy has to speedily intercept enemy aircraft are the Sea Harrier jump jets. Now, consider this alarming scenario. Over the next 5 years, the task of protecting the carrier battle group, the Virat, destroyers, frigates, and fleet tankers will fall on just 9 Sea Harriers or just half a squadron of aircraft. This scenario has been worsened by the fact that the refit of the aircraft carrier Vikramaditya, which India bought from Russia, has been delayed by 4 years. Vikramaditya's air group of 18 MiG-29K carrier capable aircraft will start arriving in batches on time from next year. The MiG-29s, however, cannot operate from the Virat's specially built sky jump on the flight deck and hence will be shore based until the Vikramaditya arrives. There are 3 main reasons why the aircraft crash: pilot error, faulty maintenance, or the failure of a spare part. The Navy says it is concerned but has refused to divulge reasons behind the spate of crashes which have destroyed over 60% of the Harrier fleet. Yet, at least one crucial factor unifies most recent crashes. All of them occurred while the aircraft were making their landing approach, suggesting a loss of control and loss of power in the final stages of landing. Clearly, an engine related issue in an aircraft that is already 25 years old. The Navy conscientiously maintains its aircraft, but perhaps there are some components deep inside which are not apparent at regular inspections, says a former Navy Chief Admiral who flew the first Harrier in 1983. The upgrade of Sea Harriers is now being carried out by Hindustan Aeronautical Limited in Bangalore, and the first limited upgrade Sea Harrier jet is set to fly in the next 6 months. This upgrade will deliver to the Navy a formidable interceptor. The new ELTA EL M2032 radar can spot the enemy from over 100 km away, and its Derby beyond visual range air to air missile can engage them at 60 km distance. Naval officials blame the United Kingdom, the original manufacturer of the aircraft, for stalling urgently needed upgrades to the Sea Harriers. The VSTOL aircraft, which can take off from half the runway length required by the normal fighter jets, were built by British Aerospace and first inducted from the UK in 1983 to operate off the British built Virat. Their upgrade to the aircraft, pending since the mid 1990s, were delayed by a series of flip flops by the British government and their refusal to part with the advanced Blue Vixen radar and US supplied AMRAAM BVR missiles. This led to the shelving of the first upgrade. With the euphoria generated by the acquisition of Vikramaditya and its air wing of 18 MiG-29K fighter aircraft in 2004, the Navy decided to abandon the Sea Harrier upgrade. The limited upgrade of the 13 aircraft would give them Israel ELTA radars and Derby BVR missiles, with the Navy deciding to extend the life of the Virat by another decade and the Sea Harrier already out of production in the world. It has no option but to purchase second-hand aircraft from the UK. The Navy wanted to purchase the 8 remaining Sea Harrier FA-2 aircraft from the Royal Navy last year as crash replacements, but a waffling British government said it would supply them only after stripping them of radars, avionics, and missiles, a proposal that was rejected by the Navy. During a visit to New Delhi last year, Britain's First Sea Lord Admiral agreed to supply the Navy the FA-2 without the radars and avionics, so they could be cannibalized for spare parts, but the UK subsequently backed out of this offer. With the Royal Navy having withdrawn its Sea Harriers from service in March last year, the Indian Navy now enjoys the uncomfortable distinction of being the world's last operator of the aircraft, which first flew in 1960. With the crashes having created an unacceptable void in its capabilities, the Navy may have no option but to scout the world market for second-hand Harrier cousins like the AV-8B Harrier II, operated by the US Marine Corps, and the Matador, operated by the Spanish Navy. Here too, there are problems. Unlike the British aerospace built Harriers, which the Indian Navy operates, the AV 8Bs are built by the US McDonnell Douglas. These will bring their own set of maintenance hassles. In the absence of any alternatives, the Navy has no option but to thrust the burden of defending its growing fleet of surface warships on the aging shoulders of its shrinking fleet of Sea Harriers. Thank you for listening. Our commander gently rotated the Sea Harrier's vertical landing thrust nozzles down towards the runway, bringing the aircraft to a gentle hover. Just then, the aircraft began yawing out of control. Yawing, Y-A-W-I-N-G. Yawing means tilting. A ship, etc., deviating erratically from a course. In a flash, the experienced pilot yanked the twin handles of the Martin Baker ejection seat between his thighs. Yank, Y-A-N-K. Yank means to pull something suddenly, quickly, and hard. Their upgrades to the aircraft, pending since the mid 1990s, were delayed by a series of flip flops by the British government and their refusal to part with the advanced Blue Vixen radar and US supplied AMRAAM BVR missiles. This led to the shelving of the first upgrade. SHELVE, shelve. Shelve means to decide not to continue with a plan, etc., either for a short time or permanently. The Navy wanted to purchase the 8 remaining Sea Harrier FA-2 aircraft from the Royal Navy last year as crash replacements, but a waffling British government said it would supply them only after stripping them of radars, avionics, and missiles. Waffle, W-A-F-F-L-E. Waffle means language that used a lot of words but that does not say anything important or interesting. Waffle means ambiguous or uncertain. During a visit to New Delhi last year, Britain's First Sea Lord Admiral agreed to supply the Navy the FA-2s without the radars and avionics so they could be cannibalized for spare parts. Cannibalize, C-A-N-N-I-B-A-L-I-S-E. Cannibalize means use a machine as a source of spare parts for another similar machine. Thank you very much.